What's going on, Dolphins? It's your boy Dillon. I'm back with you today. Today is the final day of training camp. The final official day of training camp. I've got a bunch of stuff to get to, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. First, just an interesting article from Pro Football Talk. Minkah begins to collect NFL and Alabama jerseys. Let's see. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to need a bigger man cave. The Dolphins cornerback, he's a safety, a first-round pick from Alabama, has been collecting NFL jerseys worn by fellow former members of the Crimson Tide. The process started last Thursday night when the Dolphins faced the Buccaneers and former Alabama tight end O.J. Howard. There's a lot of Bama guys that we're going to be playing against, so I definitely want to get their jerseys and put them up on my wall, Fitzpatrick said via AL.com. As Mark Bennett of AL.com notes, NFL rosters currently boast 59 former pupils of Nick Saban, so Fitzpatrick will need a really big wall. He won't need a big wall this week. The Dolphins play the Panthers, and the Panthers are one of three teams without Alabama players. Per Anna Bennett, the Browns and Vikings are the only other two. After Miami's third preseason game, however, Fitzpatrick will have his hands full. The Ravens will roll out a quintet of former Tuscaloosa's: cornerback Anthony Averett, center Bradley Bozeman, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, and middle linebacker C.J. Mosley, and outside linebacker Tim Williams. By the time rosters cut from 90 to 53, there will surely be fewer former Alabama players in the NFL than 90. Still, Fitzpatrick will be doing plenty of jersey swapping throughout his NFL career, especially since more and more Alabama players are making it to the NFL every year. Yeah, so it's cool. It's an interesting little story for you. Okay, next one. Bleacher Report article. Dolphins and cornerback Breeland have mutual interest. The Miami Dolphins and free agent cornerback Bashaud Breeland reportedly have mutual interest. According to Adam H. Beasley of the Miami Herald, a source said there is legit interest on both sides, but nothing is imminent. And so far, everybody who's talked about it has said that, he could be a day one starter for us. I know he is a good corner, and obviously that would add depth to our secondary, so we'll see what happens. Beasley added that the Dolphins are one of more than a half dozen teams in the running to sign Breeland after recently bringing him in for a free agent visit. Omar Kelly of the Sun Sentinel reported Monday the Dolphins were actively and aggressively targeting a starting cornerback. Xavier Howard is currently locked in as a starting corner with Bobby McCain in the other spot, but Beasley noted the Dolphins would prefer to have McCain operate in a nickel role. The Dolphins also have 2017 third-round pick Cordray Tankersley in the mix. Breeland represents a unique case in that he's a starting caliber cornerback who is still on the market because of a failed physical. He previously agreed to a 3-year, $24 million contract with the Carolina Panthers that was later rescinded because of a foot infection. The 26-year-old spent the first 4 seasons of his NFL career with the Washington Redskins after they selected him in the 4th round of the 2014 draft out of Clemson. Last season, Breeland registered 47 tackles, a career-high 19 passes defended, and 1 interception in 15 games. Over 60 career regular season games, he has 8 interceptions. If Miami signs Breeland, he will join a secondary that ranked 16th in the NFL last season with 225.2 passing yards allowed per game and 23rd in passing touchdowns allowed with 26. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, as things go. We'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it. I don't know. I'm kind of personally somewhere in the middle. But as long as we got some, I don't know. Honestly, I trust the coaching staff to do what they feel is necessary and needed. So, this is preseason. I'm going to have, for me, I'm reserving most of my judgment until we start actually playing, regular season games. I'm going to be careful not to get too critical until then. I am going to analyze. I am going to be a little critical. I am going to give my opinion, but not so much. More and more as the preseason goes, the more games we get in and the closer to the regular season and stuff, the more I'll do and whatever. So, yeah. All right, next one is a Bleacher Report article. And it's Devontae Parker week to week with a broken finger. So things just don't get any better for my dude. It's upsetting. But, you know, hey. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Devontae Parker is dealing with a broken right middle finger that has his status for the regular season opener against the Tennessee Titans in doubt, according to Barrett Jackson of the Miami Herald. Jackson added the Dolphins are hopeful he'll be able to play in Week 1 after practicing earlier this week despite the broken finger. Per Omar Kelly of the Sun Sentinel, head coach Adam Gase said 2 fingers are injured on Parker's right hand to the point he wouldn't be able to catch the ball. Parker suffered the injury during Sunday's practice when he collided with cornerback Xavier Howard. Injuries were a common occurrence for Parker last season. The third-year wideout missed 3 games due to an ankle injury suffered in Week 5 against the Titans. His performance also suffered with a career-low 11.8 yards per reception. The Louisville product finished 2017 with 57 receptions for 670 yards and 1 touchdown. The 2017 season was a struggle for the Dolphins, who went 6-10 for the second time in 3 years. Their offense finished 25th in total yards and 29th in scoring. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill's return after missing all of last year with a torn ACL should be an immediate upgrade over Jay Cutler. The Dolphins don't have as much depth at wide receiver this season after trading Jarvis Landry to the Cleveland Browns. That is absolutely, categorically false. And that just shows that they really don't know anything about our receiving core, because even if you take Devontae Parker out of it, we have Kenny Stills, Danny Amendola, Albert Wilson, Jakeem Grant, who absolutely will, that's 4 right there, who will be contributors. And we're not even going to talk about the backs and the tight ends as receivers, just pure receivers, but those 4. Then you throw in guys like Isaiah Ford, Rashawn Scott, Malcolm Lewis, Drew Morgan, Francis Owusu. A lot of those guys have done really good things, have shown flashes, have performed, and dude, we have a lot of depth at wide receiver this year. That's crazy. Anyway, Kenny Stills would presumably take over as the number 1 option, but he has missed practice this week due to an ankle injury suffered in the preseason opener against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aside from Parker and Stills, free agent acquisition Albert Wilson and third-year wideouts Jakeem Grant and Leonte Cruz are the Dolphins' top receivers. Yeah, Leonte Cruz there. I didn't mention him, but, I mean, I honestly don't think he'll end up being there. I think one of those other guys will end up surpassing him. Alright, anyway, just going to run through some stuff here. Chris Perkins tweeted, Tannehill quick pass left to Grant. Amendola decent block on Xavier, borderline holding but good block. Chris Perkins, 2 versus 2s, the second team. Another fumble snap, this time fails at quarterback. Joe Shad will be interesting to see how Miami Dolphins defense does with Bobby McCain on boundary and Minka Fitzpatrick in slot on Friday at Carolina. Chris Perkins fails sack. Defensive tackle Jermias Pittman, nice job. It appeared to get past left tackle Young, who I was just about to say has had a strong camp, but I'll say it anyway. He's had a strong camp. Let's see. Chris Perkins, Dolphins running back Kalen Ballage and Marquise Gray sidelined by concussions. Okay. Well, there you go. Gray and Kalen Ballage are in the concussion protocol. Joe Shad, Brock Osweiler, still mostly third-team quarterback. Wouldn't mind seeing more Bryce Petty Friday at Carolina. I feel the same way. I think he should surpass Brock. Armando Salguero, interesting thing about Minka and slot and McCain outside dynamic is it relegates Torrey McTyer and Cordray Tankersley to second team. Chris Perkins, 11 on 11, 1v1s. D tackles Harris and Spence. D ends Wake and Quinn. We've seen Harris inside a few times, even when Hayes was healthy. Chris Perkins, Minka versus Amendola. Tannehill looks to Amendola, but Minka on him like a blanket. Spence and Quinn coverage sack. Omar Kelly, Robert Quinn roasted Laramie Tunsil with an inside move. The rust is coming off. Chris Perkins, Tannehill to Gesicki for maybe 10 yards. Offense hasn't yet found rhythm, but done good things in spots. Chris Perkins, Tannehill incompletion. McCain versus Grant. Grant indicates McCain was holding. McCain celebrates his matchup victory. Let's see. Chris Perkins, second team nickel defense. Linebacker Baker on field. He's not on field with first team nickel. They stay with McMillan and Alonzo. Omar Kelly, AJ Derby with a catch from Brock Osweiler. Chris Perkins, Osweiler and completion. Running back Howell, nice job picking up blitzing Baker. Let's see. Chris Perkins, 11 on 11, 1v1s, regular nickel defense, tight end Derby, wide receivers, Amendola, Wilson, Grant, Drake, middle for short gain, no huddle, Tannehill to Wilson for maybe 12 yards right, no huddle again. Omar Kelly just watched AJ Derby move Kiko Alonso out Frank Gore's running lane. Chris Perkins, Gore right for maybe 4 to 5 yards, more no huddle. They're getting better at this, probably best in Tannehill career. That's super great. That is huge for us. We need that to be a thing. Omar Kelly, left side of the O-line, just collapsed on Tannehill, couldn't even throw the ball away. Chris Perkins, Derby, nice reception, right for short gain, briefly blocks D.N. Harris, then released. Kiko tackle for maybe 5 to 6 yard gain. Chris Perkins, Kiko, nice coverage versus Derby, twice. Tannehill looked at him twice, but had to pull it down both times, ended up running. Nice job by Kiko. Omar Kelly, coverage forces Tannehill to scramble out of the pocket. Chris Perkins, for those who keep track of such things, no pre-snap penalties today and no fights. Chris Perkins, Gesicki, nice block on D-end Woodard to spring Howell for gain of maybe 8 to 10 yards. The Rook. He's getting better, guys. Don't don't worry about him. He's good. Chris Perkins, first pre-snap penalty, was illegal shift. Chris Perkins, left guard Asiata and center Hillen, nice blocks to spring running back Radcliffe up middle. Joe Shad with players like Cordray Tankersley, Stephon Anthony, Charles Harris, William Hayes, or Andre Branch, and Jordan Phillips or Devon Godshaw second unit. Miami's D has more depth, but will starters take needed leap forward? So here's a Phinsider article real quick about our guys in the concussion protocol. The Miami Dolphins had their most intense practice at training camp on Monday, a full pads workout with players being hit, along with multiple fights breaking out on the day. On Tuesday, as the team returned to the practice field for their final training camp public practice of the year, 2 players were on the sidelines with concussions. According to the South Florida Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins, both running back Kalen Ballage and tight end Marquise Gray are in the concussion protocol. Gray's injury happened in the middle of practice Monday, with the tight end taking a knee while trainers check on him. He has been battling a leg issue this summer, so it was thought to be a problem related to that, but it now appears it may have been a head injury. It is unclear when Ballage's injury occurred. If Gray is unable to play in Friday's game against the Carolina Panthers, his snaps will likely be split between the 2 rookies, Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe, as well as Gavin Escobar and Thomas Duarte. AJ Derby, who was thought to be a contender for a starting role at the position, is just returning from a foot injury and likely will see limited playing time Friday. Sonoris Perry will likely see Ballage's snaps if the rookie running back is unable to play. So we'll obviously monitor that. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll see what happens. Joe Shad had retweeted a Mike Garofalo tweet. Redskins are releasing cornerback Orlando Scandrick, sources say, signed him to a 2-year deal in the spring after getting cut by Dallas. Washington's younger corners have impressed. Scandrick has a shot to latch on with another team looking for a veteran. So there's another cornerback option out there in addition to Bashad Breeland. So we'll see. Omar Kelly, the Dolphins running backs, including their coach, are doing push-ups. Not sure what that's about. Let's see. It is Kiko Alonso's birthday. Happy birthday, Kiko. Armando Salguero, Adam Gase says end of training camp is not that big a deal. Guys can stay home now, he says. Adam Beasley, Gase said this training camp was intentionally harder than in years past. Omar Kelly, it's going to take the next couple weeks to define that, Gase said, on if the team has an identity. We're trying to sort a few things out about who our starters will be and who our role players are. Armando Salguero, Adam Gase on Gabe Wright getting cut. It was time for us to move on. Adam Beasley, Gase on Gabe Wright. It was time to move on. Armando Salguero, Adam Gase says all the quarterbacks will play Friday night versus Carolina. Let's see. Adam Beasley concurs. Omar Kelly, this is his 3rd year in the offense. He's mentally at a different level. Adam Gase on Ryan Tannehill. Let's see. Joe Shad here has a list of his quotes and things said. The end of training camp really just means veteran guys can sleep at home. Last year practicing at Philly was a different deal. This is a more routine preseason setup. It's going to take a little time, the next couple weeks at least, to really define the identity of the team. Still time to sort out starters. This was a harder training camp than in the past, out there a little longer. Other than Monday, guys acted professionally. The first year we tried to figure out who we are. Last year it wasn't as clear. It was time to move on from Gabe Wright. The blocking has translated from college to NFL for tight end Durham Smythe. Not ready to disclose much about quarterback plan. They'll all play. There's a better feel on offense, third year for offense. Albert Wilson is very prideful and making less mistakes on the field. We talked to Kenyan Drake. I lost my cool too. I was frustrated that he lost his cool because it's harder to call plays when he's out of the game or not available. He has a clear understanding of what we're counting on him. Did Ryan Tannehill really reveal we have a ludicrous speed tempo package? This rookie class is going to help us this year. It's evident Devontae Parker can't catch the ball right now week to week. Okay. Let's see. Joe Shad, Adam Gase jokes. We think about Ryan Tannehill revealing Miami Dolphins have a ludicrous tempo speed package. That would be interesting. Armando Salguero, the Dolphins go fast, no huddle, has ludicrous speed to it. That's the actual term, right out of Spaceballs. Adam Beasley, something I learned today. Adam Gase is a big Mel Brooks fan. Interesting. Omar Kelly, I've been very impressed with this class, very football-oriented. Gase on the rookies. They are playing fast. These guys are going to help us this year. Adam Beasley, Gase said Parker's injuries week to week. Says he cannot catch ball. Let's see. Omar Kelly, right now, wouldn't be able to catch a ball. Armando Salguero, the Adam Gase offense has a lot of 80s terms to it because when we started it, you have to remember who the quarterback was. Peyton Manning. Barry Jackson, Parker's week to week. Let's see. Adam Beasley, Rizzy is a big fan of Owusu, something to monitor as the Dolphins consider their 53. I think he actually could make the team, Francis Owusu. He's doing some good things. Let's see. So yeah, Cameron Wolf, Joe Shad, Barry Jackson, Ian Rappaport, everybody is confirming that Devontae Parker has a broken middle finger. Armando Salguero has been told 4 to 6 weeks. Team expects him for the opener. Alright guys, well it looks like that's actually about all I've got here for you for today. So I think that there may have been some interviews. If there were interviews, then you know that I will have those at the end of this video. If not, there won't be. But I think that there were some interviews with Gase for sure, and I think a couple of the players. So be on the lookout for that. And with that said, enjoy those interviews, and I will see you guys soon. Fins up.
The no huddle offense, you guys seem to be getting better at it.
You know, you just gotta, rep it. It's very short in phrases, so you kind of, have to, hear the phrase, know your responsibility, and just go out and execute. So the more we do that, the more comfortable we get into it. The more, the quicker we line up and, see what the defense has to offer. Maybe, switch to another alternate play. But, as the preseason and, the season kind of goes on, we'll continue to be well oiled in that, and hopefully that'll help us make a lot of big plays.
Are you guys better at it, and if so, why?
Yeah, we're better at it just in terms of just it being the third year for a lot of people that's been in this offense under Gase. So it's just real familiar. I know myself included, just going back to my rookie year, it's like night and day in terms of going out there and executing and knowing exactly what to do down in and down out, being able to see what the defense has to offer so I can, in my mind, make up where I have to be, in a certain given situation. So, I feel like it's just experience.
Kenyan, what's the biggest difference and the benefit you've noticed from having the offensive line together the whole camp when you go out there and play?
I feel like in any situation, having, the O-line out there, all the receivers, just everybody out there, full hands on deck, it really builds that camaraderie, builds that, that familiarity where you can go out there and, understand you're going to have that guy for 16-plus seasons or 16-plus weeks. And it's really cool just to build that camaraderie and go out there and execute it on a daily basis. So when you go to the season, it's the same thing from camp to the season.
Kenny, what happened yesterday with Gabe?
Just a misunderstanding in terms of things got out of hand. So it really is what it is, honestly.
Were you surprised that he was released?
I was definitely surprised. But that's not a decision I have to make. That's a decision that the head man and everybody else upstairs have to make. So it's really out of my hands.
As far as going into this,
how much of a benefit is it to learn from a guy like Frank Gore?
Oh, it's definitely very beneficial. That guy with that type of experience and how he comes out and not only it permeates from his experience, but also just him going out here and running around at his age. It shows that if you take care of your body, you do what you need to do on a daily basis, year in and year out. You can come out here and be successful for however long you want to.
It's been a while. You've been able to think about it for a while, but to know that you're the featured back going into this season, how different is your mindset with that?
I just try to take every day for what it is, be where my feet at. It's just really kind of being in a routine to where I know I can put my best foot forward at the end of the day. So whereas, eating, when I need to, having the right hydration, the right setup to where I can be available for 16-plus games this year so I can help this team win games and make plays.
Kenny, what do you expect to get out of this second game, maybe getting a couple more reps?
Just continue to build confidence going out there with the rest of my teammates. Building the ability to go out there and continue to make plays. I might not get obviously 20 carries in the second preseason game, but making the most of the carries and making sure I execute the game plan accordingly.
Kenny, I know the work continues, but is it nice to get past the training camp stage?
Yeah, the work is going to continue regardless. So I feel like I'm going to put that work in. We might not be up here, as long up to 8 o'clock, but I'll still try to be up here as long as possible to get what I get the most out the day. So I feel like that's the mindset that I have, becoming more of a professional as my career kind of progresses. There's no rush to get out the facility. I have to take care of my body, take care of my mind, and make sure I put my best foot forward each and every day.
How important is keeping composure? Because obviously yesterday the team had some breakdowns. As a team, how important is it?
It's obviously very important, but it's kind of hard. Hindsight is very 20/20. First, when it comes to the severity of somebody getting cut in that situation, and two, we've been banging for 2 weeks now. It's easy sitting from the outside looking in, being like, oh, you should have more composure, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But, angers, tempers flare, things of that sort. And you just have to, in that moment, you got to have, the ability to, to have, be proactive with how, you can look forward to see, make sure that I'm here to, the next day because, it is what it is. It was a very unfortunate situation. I wish nothing but the best for him.
You've been in thousands of practices in your life, and I'm sure you've seen that happen before. Have you ever seen anyone hurt, and are you all right? Yeah, no,
that's the thing, too. You got to always, have your teammates' best interest at the end of the day, whatever the case may be in terms of, my temper, me getting involved in something, coming to somebody's help, me starting something, me trying to finish something. At the end of the day, you have to always think ahead and think about the future actions of, what you do. That's on and off the field, So at the end of the day, you just got to, make sure you can put your best foot forward to, be who you want to be and who you want to represent for this team and for yourself.
About breaking camp officially?
Yes and no. I love camp. I think it's the best time of year to get better. With the competition, the focus on football, the amount of time that you're able to spend in the meeting room, on the practice field. I think we gained so much from it. So part of me is sad that it's breaking, that it's over, but yeah, it's the next step. I'm excited for what's in front of us and the opportunities we have in front of us, and this just means we're moving on to that.
Are you feeling the benefits of having an offensive line together here for a whole camp?
Yeah, of course. I think the offensive line is really doing a nice job. I think past few days especially, pass protection has been really, really good. Been really excited about the way they're moving around, passing guys off, and just giving me time back there. So, started back last week in the game, did a great job, and I think they've continued to build off that.
What do you feel is the biggest benefit that you've noticed, right away that you noticed when you have a line together instead of shuffling guys in and
Well, the consistency. You know, I think they know how each other plays, that there's the trust factor that, okay, I've passed this twist off with this guy, 200 times by now, so I know he's going to be there in the right spot. And yeah, just the trust the man beside you, and the consistency of knowing the flow of the offensive line is huge, having that being the same over a course of several weeks.
I saw you had a little moment before Adam, before kickoff. You said you can't even imagine. What was that conversation like? He gave you a little hug.
Yeah, he was like, I don't remember exactly what he said, something to the effect of, I'm excited to have you back out here. And I was like, you don't even know how excited I am just to be here and be on this field, get to do what I do, play the game I love. It was a long time coming, so it was great to get back under the lights and play some football.
You talked about the trust of the players. Is the trust of your own body 100% back? Like having that one game under your, one series, but does that give you a little more confidence in yourself, your body, your knee?
I think the trust has been there for a while now. I think throughout the spring, that's when I really got the 100% trust back, is being able to do everything I need to do out here and more throughout the training process and practices, doing all the running, cutting, the movements that I need to do. I think that's what gave me the confidence and the trust. Now, I don't even think about it. It's just going out and playing the game.
This next game, how much do you expect to play?
I have no idea. Gase hasn't even let me know anything yet.
You want to play a little more, though. Obviously, you want to get out there a little more.
Yeah, I wanted to play more last week. You get especially my first time playing in a long time. I got the juices flowing and got a taste of the action, and I wanted more. But Gase has a plan. He does everything for a reason. So I'm sure I'll get to play a little more this week.
Do your goals progress each week in the preseason? Do you have different things, more advanced things you want to try to get out of this week compared to last week?
Yeah, there's specific things that will go into each preseason game. All right, last week it was a sense of urgency to the line of scrimmage, tempo to the line of scrimmage, getting the guys up and going, and I think we did that. I think we did a good job of that. Now that's one series, so we have to continue to that, and we'll add something else this week that'll be our focus.
How much of a challenge is it to work with a new batch of wide receivers with Jakeem and Albert in there, with Stills and Devontae out?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. I think the benefit is they're really talented guys. We have had throwing sessions in the summer. I was working with those guys out here. I've been trying to work them in. But it is an adjustment having different guys out there, different bodies, different body types. But they're both really talented guys and can play the position in a way that we need them to play. So, yeah, it's just a matter of getting the reps and getting comfortable with how each guy moves and under duress. When he's getting pushed, how he's going to recover and little things like that. Like when you're throwing and you got free access, then it's like nothing. But it's the little things of, all right, he's getting pushed. One guy recovers a different way than another guy, but you have to throw it at the same timing. So just knowing how each guy recovers a little differently is the adjustment.
Ryan, can you talk a little bit about your spots when it comes to what happened on Sunday with Kalen? What goes into that as a leader? When's the right time, I guess?
Yeah, you don't want to be iron fist all the time. At least I don't. I like to pick my spots, like you said, and have a reason for everything that I do. I think I believe in Kalen. I know that the talent he has every tool that we need him to have. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he catches the ball well, he can pass protect. And I told Kalen after the fact, I just want him to have more urgency. We want him to help us. I know he can help us, but we have to know what we're doing when we're on the field, especially in pass protection. And I think he's picked it up. I think he's doing a good job of pressing forward, and he's going to help us this year.
Ryan, can you talk a little bit about the red zone offense? Do you feel like you have more options this year than you've had in the past?
Yeah, I think you add some new receivers, a couple new tight ends that are really talented, especially Mike, guy who's long and athletic, rangy, and you have more mismatch problems than maybe we've had in the past. So I'm excited about the opportunities that we have, and trying to find those matchups that are better for us and get them the ball.
Ryan, what's it been like to see Frank Gore run the way he's running at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I don't even know how old Frank is. He runs like he's 25. So I'm excited to play with Frank. He's been a fan of his for a long time, how he plays the game, how hard he plays. And the funnest part for me has been seeing him get through these little tiny cracks. You see, looks like he's going to run right into the back of an offensive lineman, and somehow he does a subtle little cut, shifts his shoulders, and he's cutting through a tiny little crack. So it's really amazing. We sit back in the quarterback room and watch these cuts, and we're like, holy crap, do you see that? Like, I don't think people realize how tough that is to do, and the vision you have to see, the anticipation that you have to make that type of cut. So he's really one of a kind, and I'm excited to play with him.
Ryan, where do you guys stand with the no-huddle offense? How is it progressing?
It's good. We're constantly working on it. I think we have a few different tempos that we can play at. We can go in the huddle, we can go on the ball at a normal pace, or we can go what we call our ludicrous speed and really, press the tempo. So I think that's going to help us and be a tool this year more than it has in the past. We can change those tempos up and try to keep the defense on their heels.
How often have you guys gone ludicrous speed out here?
Yeah, we had a few plays today in that last team period that they were just out of the blue. It was like normal tempo, boom, then we jump into it and go really fast. So I love doing that. I love getting the defense on their heels, and our guys do a good job of getting up on the ball and keeping that pressure on the defense. So yeah, it's kind of on Gase to initiate that and call it, but I love when he incorporates it.
And what are you guys doing better as opposed to previous years in the no huddle or whatever speed up tempo?
Yeah, well, I think in 16 going back, first year in the offense for a bunch of guys, and it was just difficult to be as consistent as we wanted to be. So we ended up huddling more that year. Last year with all the changes, made it more difficult. Now going into this year, we've had consistency for several years here with these guys. They know what to do. They know what spots to be in, and now we're able to press the tempo.
Ryan, your thoughts on training camp being over?
I said this earlier. I'm a little sad that it's over. I love training camp. I love the grind. I love the time that we're able to spend together, to spend out here on the practice field, to spend in the meeting room. I think you get your biggest gains in this time of year. You gain all times of the year, but I think your biggest gains are made in training camp. And so yeah, part of me is sad, but the other part of me is excited because it marks the next phase, the next chapter of this season, and getting ready for game one.
Ryan, what's the hardest part about playing in the heat, and how does it work to your advantage early in the season as opposed to late, and does it help down the road too?
Yeah, I think it helps. We're accustomed to it. We're out here every single day, grinding in the heat, pretty much no matter what the temperature is or the index or anything like that. So, we should be accustomed to it more than any other team, and we have to use it to our advantage, especially when I was talking about the tempo and things like that, of getting teams on their heels and then kind of grinding them down. They might stay with us in the first, second, third, but hopefully by the fourth quarter that we've ground on them, pounded them enough where now we can use the heat and the whole home field advantage to the fullest.
Ryan, what's your impression been of a couple of the rookies you faced on the first team defense, Minka, Baker, and how they've worked out there?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. I think Mika really kind of flashed in the spring, and it's just continued to get better. They're moving around a lot. He's playing safety, he's playing nickel, he's kind of doing a little bit of everything back there. But he's an extremely talented guy. You can tell he loves the game of football. He's a football player. He works extremely hard, so he has all the indicators that I love seeing in a defensive player. I think he's going to be a big-time help for us.
Last question from John here.
Now talked about how they've seen more accountability and ownership from you this offseason. Is that something that's been a concerted effort for you?
I think it's just been a progression throughout my career. I think the more confidence you get as far as games under your belt, time spent with the guys, time in an offense, dealing with all the bull crap that you deal with in this profession, I think, yeah, at some point you're just kind of like, screw it, I'm going to be me and do everything I can to win. And if they don't like it, then oh well, So I think that's part of it, and part of it's Gase and then the support he has for me, the confidence that he gives me to go out and be me and lead the way I want to lead.
Ryan. Different other examples, teammates you mentioned, using your voice more this offseason?
Like I said, it's just progression. I wouldn't say it's something I'm really focusing on or anything like that. Just going out, being me, and trying to drive this team every single day to execute and hold our standard and win football games.
Ryan, I know you addressed this in the past, but take us back through the injury with Raekwon and the rehab and how you guys challenge each other. You've seen him go down and how you guys push each other in the offseason.
Yeah, it was terrible seeing Raekwon go down. It was first preseason game, kickoff, and I was up in the box, kind of having a little pity party myself, wishing I was out there. Then see him go down, I wasn't really sure what it was. And as soon as I heard it was an ACL, my heart was broken because I knew the emotions that he was dealing with. I knew the pain, the disappointment, the anger, like all of those things that kind of overwhelm you in that moment. So I really felt for him in that, and we actually had surgery on the same day, so we were right neck and neck the whole way through our rehab, pushing each other day in and day out, and little things that weren't a competition, we find a way to make them a competition and just push each other. And we're competitors. That's why I found that out about Raekwon during that time, and I love it about him, is that he's a competitor. He loves competing and loves the game of football. So just being able to compete with him each and every day, there was some things that were really difficult. We did some BFR, which was a grind. It's basically like a cuff that they put and then squeezes 80% of the blood flow out of your legs, and then we'd ride the bike. And it started off as we'd ride, and then we made it a competition, right? So how far can you go in 10 minutes? And just kept boom, 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 and pretty soon we were hitting like 4 miles, and it might not sound like a lot, but when you don't have blood flow in your legs, I mean, your legs feel like they're going to explode after the first 45 seconds. So it's really just a mental grind, and we found a way to push each other and make each other better, and I think get mentally stronger through the whole process.
Next week, I'll just have a different format. I think this is the first time really since, over the last 3 years that we're actually going to be able to go through an actual mock game week for our guys, just the time frame of playing Friday to Saturday, getting into game preparation, actually have a clean, dry run. We've always had something that has kind of stood in the way of that. Last year practicing at Philly just kind of was, we were kind of going through it, our game plan with them. So wasn't a lot of surprises when we got to the game. And then the year before that, we were still kind of toying with a lot of things, and we didn't really have our regular week set.
Do you have a feel or understanding about who this team is identity-wise?
I still think it's going to take a little time, at least I shouldn't say the next couple weeks, to really define that, and I think our coaching staff has a better feel right now, but I still think we're trying to sort a few things out of who our starters are going to be and who our role guys are going to be and what they're going to do. So I think once we end training camp, I think we'll be able to nail that down a lot better than right now.
Going back to Chris's question, what stood out to you during training camp?
I think we changed it up a little bit. I think this one was probably a little harder than what we've done in the past. I think we were out there a little longer, and I think guys were, take yesterday out of it, I think guys acted professional, and there was a lot of, physicality, and there was a better sense of what we were looking for as far as how we want to tackle, how we want our ball security to be, our turnovers, just all these little details that we've been talking about, pre-snap penalties. We're talking about that at a rate of, I don't even know the word used. So, but we had a very good, point of emphasis in this camp. The first year we were trying to figure things out, like who are we and, what do we need to work on, who's staying, who's going. The second year, I don't think we were as clear as probably what we needed to be. I feel like this year everybody's on the same page. We all know what we're looking to do.
You mentioned yesterday Wilkins's decision to cut skirmish.
It was time for us to move on. So, I don't really think I need to get in more detail than that. It's part of NFL.
Adam, more than just the blocking of Durham translated from college to here, Durham-Smythe, and is he as good a blocker yet as you have at the position? Obviously, Marquise and some others are good blockers as well.
I do think it's translated. There's been a large amount of time where he's done a really good job. I think anytime he gets thrown in there with that first group, that's really the big test for him, where he has to play fast and he can't, if he thinks too much, you're going to pay for it, because those guys are coming off the edge hard. And I do think what he did in college has translated to the NFL.
Was it more than just the one incident that you mentioned yesterday? You seemed like maybe you were irritated in general by yesterday's play.
We moved on, and it is what it is. I know you want more, but that's all I'm saying about it.
What can you share with us about the quarterback plan for this preseason game?
Nothing.
Not yet. Okay. Would you? I'll ask you.
They're all going to play.
All play. Okay.
You said you didn't want to rotate, and then you rotated.
I lied. No, I didn't. No, it was. Our plan was really how many plays, and how the feel of the game was going. So it kind of changed. You know, it was really more me than anybody of who was going first, how long they were going to stand, and then I think I just kept flip-flopping as far as what I wanted to do, and kind of waited to game time to kind of feel out the game and go, all right, this is what I want to do. This guy's up. This guy's up. So I felt like it worked out. We got both of them in a rhythm. It took me a little longer with Brock, but he ended up having a 17-play drive. So it worked out. The reps worked out. And I thought both of them did a good job.
At the end of training camp, where does your offense stand compared to years past?
I mean, there's just a better feel. I mean, with Ryan, this is his third year in the offense. So he's at mentally a different level. He's able to really help so many guys out. And I think just a couple of the moving pieces we've had, those guys have done a good job picking it up. I mean, this offense isn't too far off from what Danny's already done. Communication between whether it be Ben or myself or Sean, it's easy for us because it's probably easier for me because I can still talk to him in some of the terms that he's used to and translate them over for him. And then I think Albert's done a really good job of grinding out the playbook. He's very, very prideful in making sure he's not making mistakes on the field. It's been a very good transition for us.
You said something on Sirius about helping Ryan clean up third downs and become more efficient. What's that process like?
It's one of those things you talk about. It's probably easier said than done. You know, just being able to have that feel of when it's there and when it's not. And, you know, if something breaks down, getting the ball out and see if we can get it on a short completion, but not standing back there and holding on to it, taking a sack. You know, that's really my biggest thing is trying to make sure that he's not taking unnecessary hits. You know, there's times where I understand he's going to stand in there and he's going to deliver the ball, and then there's times where, you know, there's no hope to deliver the ball. So let's get it out of our hands, and I think that's been a point of emphasis probably for the last 2 years since he really got injured. You know,
where do you see the cleaner practices with him most?
Probably when we do anything where it's just a straight, he knows he's got 6 to 8 plays, move the ball, and it's more of a game feel. When we have the scripted type periods to where it's like one emphasis of red zone, third down, whatever it is, I think those don't feel as natural. I don't think he doesn't like those like he likes to move the ball, because now it's like, here's 3rd and 6, and now it can go, 3 plays into the drive or 4 plays in the drive. It just feels real for him, and I think he does a better job when we're kind of in that rhythm.
Adam, I know it's just a preseason game, but I do have one question for you about Carolina. You mentioned Kuechly a few times, what you think of him, how much you like him, or maybe dislike him, I guess, depending on how you want to.
I don't dislike him. I think he's a really good player.
So frustrating or such a headache, specifically?
Because he's one of the few players that you go against that you might call plays and he knows, and he can watch and see how everybody, their stance is. He listens to what the quarterback's saying, where he's making them. He picks up on little things that a lot of players don't, and he uses that information and processes it fast and can get the other guys on board. And when you got a guy that's basically saying they're going left or they're going right, or it's a pass or it's wrong, I mean, that's frustrating as a play caller because you're at a disadvantage. And I think he has just an unbelievable ability to put his guys in great position.
After the Bills game last year, I think you talked to Drake about that ejection. Was there a conversation yesterday, and do you think that there'll ever be a point where he can just either walk away or not be a part of it or do something else?
Yeah, we had a conversation about a couple things. I mean, for me, I lost my cool a little bit because I was a little frustrated that he got upset, because that's exactly the first thing that popped in my head. It's a little harder to call plays when he's out of the game, or he's not even available. And you know, we talked about that, and at the same time, you know, I think he has a clear understanding of we're counting on him. There's a lot of people that if he's not in the game or he's not on the sideline and we don't have him because he's either ejected or he gets hurt because of something like that, that he's letting a lot of people down. And I think that hit him to where he understood where I was coming from. And, you know, I love his emotion, I love his passion. You know, you don't want to take that away, but at the same time, you know, he's a really good player, and he's young, and we need to have him on the field.
Adam, I was asking Ryan about the different speeds of the no-huddle offense. He said there's a ludicrous speed, which I guess just by name it raises expectations. But what are the hallmarks of ludicrous speed?
What kind of training are we doing?
Not very good.
Yeah, obviously. We'll have a discussion later. Yeah, I mean, there's just different tempos. I think most teams have similar versions of what we do, and you know, it's just, you know, you try to block everything up. Like, here's this package, this is the tempo we go at. You know, here's on the ball, here's huddle. So you just try to have as many options as you can to keep the defense off balance. You know, when we want to be in an attacking mode, we jump into something like that and try to put pressure on the defense. And when we're down here, you know, you get a team running, all of a sudden it's an 8-play drive. You know, it'll take the wind out of them.
And how have you guys been doing as far as no huddle overall during training camp and Thursday?
I mean, it's been fine. I mean, that's all we really do.
Is that the actual name of it? Ludicrous speed? Like Spaceballs?
You know it.
Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh my God.
Our whole there's a lot of 80s terms, because you got to remember when we started this thing who the quarterback was. The only problem was nobody else knew what we were talking about. So it was good between me and him, but nobody else.
Adam, with training camp officially ending, how would you assess the play of your rookies through the whole process?
I've been very impressed with this class. Very impressed. Very football oriented. You know, I mean, there is nothing else. These guys grind. They spend extra time. They study. They know what to do. They're playing fast. I mean, you see the impact. Like, it's noticeable that these guys are going to help us this year. Like, this isn't going to be a, you know, hey, let's see what happens over the next 3 years. I mean, we're seeing 4 or 5, 6 guys actually. We know, hey, these guys are going to help us.
Ryan mentioned that he feels more comfortable this year being him, particularly with his teammates and how he speaks to them. How have you seen that?
I think it's just the first conversation we ever had. It's like, whoever you are, just be that guy. And I think he's done a good job with that, and he's at the point of his career where all the things that people kind of look at, stats and all that stuff, he wants to win. And if there's anything standing in the way of that, then he's going to address it. He's not going to be shy about it. He's going to bring it up. You know, I don't think he's afraid of confrontation.
Adam, regarding Devontae, has he had X-ray, or is there a broken bone, or can you tell us anything?
Yeah, right now, I mean, we're going to be going week to week. I mean, right now he wouldn't be able to catch the ball, so we'll just keep evaluating that, and we just need to make sure that we keep him in great shape, and you know, when they tell us that he's good to go, then we'll have him ready to go. I'm not going that far ahead right now, so.
Was he injured on that play where Xavier broke up the pass and he looked like he came down hard?
Well, yeah, I think his hand got stuck in his shoulder pad. It was a very odd-looking play.
Adam, changing tempo a bit, a weather question. Week 1, end of training camp now. Week 1 last year was actually postponed by Hurricane Irma. This is the Weather Channel. What's the mindset?
I got a heads up. I was ready.
What's the mindset going into impending weather as the season?
I want it to be as hot as it could be. You know, for me, that I love being able to train down here. I love the fact that our guys like being down here, and it's hard. There's nothing easy about it. You don't have to worry about creating adversity down here because you get it every day. You know, you walk out into a sauna and then we're going. You know, and there's been some nice hot days, You know, and when you're a coach and you're standing around and you see those guys that are sweating, you can't imagine what the guys that are actually in full pads. I mean, it's probably 1,000 times worse. But I do think when we hit the game, these guys are in great shape, and that's what we want. And it's, to me, I kind of compare it to training in altitude. It's just a different feel, and I think it's an advantage for us, and that's why I do like going on the ball and try to get as many plays as possible. You know, we just need to have success doing it because, you know, more first downs we get, more time in possession we get, and, you know, gives us a better chance to wear down the defense.
Adam, beyond Fales and Sonoris, seems like a couple other offensive guys who've improved. Asiata, Owosu, would you agree with those two? Anyone else you throw in that mix about guys you've really seen growth?
Did Perkins set you up? Has Perkins set you up? So ask me that question.
It's clear that he's doing a more effective job with run blocking.
I think those guys have done a great job.
With Francis, you know, obviously a guy who didn't play a ton at Stam, didn't have a ton of catches. Have you seen growth there that intrigues you?
Yeah, I know this. He's been a guy that, you know, when Rizzy likes a guy, we're going to hear about it. So now he's getting those opportunities on offense, and it's all about the adjustments. When things change, can you adjust? And when you get your opportunities to make plays, are you going to make them? And I think in practice it's been a little inconsistent, but it's like right when he went in the game the other day, I'm going, I know this ball is going to go to him. You know, I had no idea what the coverage is going to be, and he does what he's done the last time he was here. He makes plays.
I wanted to ask you about the preseason. I know it's like asking somebody to go out with you on a date when you're trying to arrange those preseason games, but you're playing two of the teams that gave you your toughest games last year in Carolina and Baltimore. Is that coincidence or just?
You know, Baltimore, we were actually trying to set up to where, you know, we had a chance to go to them. It just didn't work out with, you know, how preseason it seems like there's a lot of conflict to schedule with things going on at their stadium, our stadium, things like that. I love playing Baltimore. I think it's always a great challenge for us. I mean, Coach Harbaugh has done it's obvious that he's done a great job there, and their attitude is, you know, one of those attitudes that we're striving to get to where, you know, there's tough, physical, smart, you know, do things right, competitive every week, and, you know, that's why I love playing those guys. And Carolina, just, you know, it's kind of a location, but at the same time, we're playing a good team. And I think it's a different team for us to play, you know, especially for our defense because, you know, they have a new coordinator this year, but, you know, anytime that you can go against Cam Newton, I think it's a great test for our defense because he's a hard quarterback to defend.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the interviews. I hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, if you did, please hit the subscribe button, you know, share it with your friends, post on Facebook, you know, whatever, hit the like button, and definitely leave me some comments, questions, concerns, anything you'd like to see or hear in the videos, you know, stuff like that. So definitely let me know. And of course, the most important thing is subscribe. So with that said, I'll see you guys soon, and fins up.